Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Milojevic. I am the Business Development and Marketing Director at SimpleFi. We're excited to have you join us this morning for today's webinar. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know about an awesome event we have coming up. We're hosting a SAP Analytics Cloud Bootcamp followed by a Chicago Blackhawks game on October 25th in Chicago at the SAP Fieldglass office. If you're interested, space is limited, so please register and feel free to reach out to me with any questions. And now I will hand it over to our managing partner, John Essig, who will be doing today's webinar.
All right, great. Thanks, Lauren. So our agenda for today, we have just a few PowerPoint slides we'll go through that kind of lay out SAP's roadmap, a quick introduction to SAP Analytics Cloud and the capabilities, and some example use cases for the solution, including some customers with SimpleFi that are live today. Then we'll jump into the demo, so we won't spend too much time on the PowerPoint. I'll just give you a quick intro to the navigation within the SAP Analytics Cloud tool, explain visually, through the demo how the integration works with BPC and BW and the SAP platform. And then we'll go through a couple real-life examples of demo data brought in from SAP BPC as well as SAP BW BEX reports, so you can see how you can pull that data in, visualize it, create reports, create dashboards on it pretty quick. And then if you are interested, want a copy of the presentation, be happy to provide it. Within a copy of the presentation, we have an appendix with some of the example content that we're going to show today. So we'll start off just with the intro very quickly. So financial reporting, planning, consolidations. This quick slide just want to kind of give you a high-level overview as well as analytics. So really today, the go-to application or product within SAP's toolkit is the SAP Business Planning Consolidations tool. There are analytics solutions that supplement this, so SAP Lumira, BobJ, etc. On a go-forward basis, SAP is really investing heavily on their cloud-based solutions. They want to be a cloud company and are well on their way to do that. So SAP Analytics Cloud was introduced about 5 years ago now. A lot of companies utilize it today. SAP is continuing to invest in this solution very heavily. They'll tell you that they have over 1,000 dedicated developers to this. And they really have this as their go-to analytics solution going forward, as well as planning solution. So for companies, obviously still if your strategy is on-premise, BPC is not going away for a long time, either the existing SAP Analytics toolkits, but again, a lot of the investment from SAP is going into the cloud. And then obviously companies are making the move to S4 in the future too. And the SAP Analytics Cloud, so S4, if you're not an SAP person, is the newest release of SAP ERP. So R3, S4, if you get it, right? So within S4, you'll have your universal journal. You won't have COPA and FI differences anymore. Everything will be in one place on HANA with an updated interface and underlying infrastructure. So again, as companies start to make that journey, a lot of companies have started, a lot of companies are in the process or have it on their 2, 3, 5-year roadmap. SAP Analytics Cloud is the tool for analytics and planning that SAP is investing the most in to help companies really get their value. And it's not just for financial reporting, it's for analytical reporting, it's for all the different sub-modules available within S4. SAP is investing in built-in plug-in analytics within this tool set. Just to give you background on Analytics Cloud, yes, obviously it does analytics like you would think it would. It also does have planning capabilities. It has the ability to give you smart insights on your data, help you actually build up the plan, provide predictive insight and predictive planning capabilities that are built in with the tool. It's a very user-based, simple solution to use. It was built from the ground up as a SaaS-based solution, so it doesn't have the historical baggage of the legacy tool set. Lead developers for this tool are based out of Vancouver, so a little different than look and feel than you might expect from other SAP tool sets. And the last thing to note on here, it is a big data ready solution. So with SAP applications and SAP models, because they sit on HANA, you can actually create applications with hundreds of thousands of members within a single dimension for a customer, for example, whereas with competitive tool sets, you just can't do that within a cube. You have to do that in a relational database. So it brings a lot more power to your reporting as well as your predictive capabilities too. So this just shows kind of the SAP Analytics Cloud strategy. So really the three-prong focused on analytics, business intelligence, which includes dashboarding as well as BI reporting, focused on planning, and focused on predictive. And it is a mobile-ready solution. Integrates, or not integrates, you basically check a box and you can do your reporting and dashboards on the iPads. You can also do it within Android devices. And again, this integrates back to your SAP solution set here. So from that perspective, you know, for companies that are starting to look, okay, this is the direction that the tools are going, you know, what's the best way to start getting my feet wet, start seeing some value with these solution sets, getting ready for the changes with S4, with the new analytics tool sets here. Some of the easiest entry points are really on the BI and as well as with BPC planning and reporting. The SAP Analytics Cloud does hook in directly to SAP data sources. You can pull in flat file data sources or pull in from SQL as well, but there's built-in integration with BPC, BW, ERP to help you extend the investment that you already have in your underlying SAP infrastructure. So why consider SAP Analytics Cloud, or why consider as opposed to, you know, in 2 years going with the big bang replacement? Why start considering it now? Well, it's a little bit easier to start evaluating this piece by piece. So for a lot of companies, cloud deployment is a long-term strategic deployment, is a long-term strategic vision. So you can actually deploy SAP Analytics Cloud with your BW environment, with your SAP BBC environment, and really look at targeted areas where you can get high value from extending the solution capabilities. So as opposed to big bang, again, replace, there's a lot of places you can start to kind of augment and get your feet wet here. Why consider it? This is SAP's analytics tool set for all of the different applications and modules within SAP. So actually SAP is building SAP Analytics Cloud into their individual S4 modules. So the same analytics that you see in S4, from an analytics and reporting and financial planning perspective, this would be the same tool that you'd be using on a go-forward basis. Allow you to extend your investment. So because it does have the integration with BPC and BW, you can actually plug into these data sets, so you don't need to rebuild them in SAP Analytics Cloud. And that's what we'll be showing you a little bit today. So if you want to do dashboarding on BPC data, you can, you know, install a connector and start dashboarding within a couple hours, right? So this isn't a 2-month investment. You're not transforming data. If you can get it plugged in, get it approved so you can have a cloud-based application at your company, it's probably the biggest hurdle. But if once you get the trial license, you have it connected, then creating these dashboards and things is pretty quick, and you can start to see value. From an analytics perspective and from a predictive perspective, because you can plug this into your underlying data and run the predictive models against CRM data, for example, to do opportunity scoring, help predict what deals are going to close or what probability those deals would have based off of historical information. Another entry point that we've seen a lot is on the planning side. extending financial and operational planning outside of your finance and kind of ops Excel experts, right? Because the tool is web-based, it's very easy to use, there's no installs, the deployment is simple, you can train people over a 1 hour webinar, has a low footprint, so it's easy to deploy, for people to use that aren't heavy Excel users. So one of our implementations local in Chicago here, right, they have their, over, I think, 150, sales and contract managers going on the system, loading their plan and forecast data. So that's an example use case, a first kind of example use case. If you look at operational planning, financial planning, a good entry point for SAP Analytics Cloud could be to help you extend your planning to the field. So what happens within a lot of companies is they may have 50 finance people that correspond with hundreds of sales, 1,000, 2,000 salespeople and collect their sales plan, right? So even though you're getting the value out of not having to manually collect and aggregate something, that only comes from those 50 finance people. They're still collecting and aggregating all this data from those salespeople, which is a lot of time and effort. A lot of people you're paying to do not quite as much value-added work. So this is a great use case. Analytics Cloud, the planning and analytics licenses aren't highly cost prohibitive. You can plug this into BPC. It can utilize the same sales planning application you're using. You can deploy it to your salespeople without having to worry about installs with minimal training. They can get directly on the web-based version, update their planning information, submit it back, which feeds back into your BPC application. So there's bi-directional integration. So this is a really good entry point that we've seen companies adopt. A second good first example use case to kind of start getting your feet wet with this tool is just more on the analytics side. We've seen a lot of companies lately purchase blocks of analytics licenses, and you can purchase small blocks of this from SAP. Of the licenses, the analytics only licenses are very affordable. They're very competitive versus the other tools, and you're going to get all the capabilities or more of the competitive tools that are out there today, plus the integration back with all your underlying SAP data. Not having to spend 2 months building integration between this and your SAP data set. You can be building these dashboards within your first day, literally. It plugs in. So again, I'll walk you through that. So just these are some examples of different, analytics that you could get out of BW, that you can get out of BW queries, that you can get out of SAP BPC. Executive summaries. This is the same tool set that SAP uses for their digital boardroom tool. So if you purchase that digital boardroom, basically SAP will set you up with a conference room with all these big screen, touch screen monitors where the same analytics that you set up, they're 100% interactive in a boardroom setting. So there's no special configuration, no coding that you need to do for that. So again, executive flash type summaries, again, not only financial data, HR data, sales data, whatever type of drivers that you want to see from your business, this is a very advanced analytics tool. So just, some examples of some of our customers today. The majority of our customers that we work with, we really specialize in the finance side of SAP, as well as executive dashboarding, analytics, planning, consolidations, reporting, and we do some operational analytics as well. But most of the companies that we work with use BPC and SAP tool sets for planning, consolidations, reporting. So once we get in there with the applications, they quickly kind of grow from one thing to 2 things to 3 things to 4 things. And I talked through this use case already, so let's go ahead and get into the demo. So we're going to start with a quick intro to SAP Analytics Cloud. We're going to then walk through integration between the 2 tool sets just very quickly, just so you can kind of understand what it looks like. Sometimes you hear from software vendors, this is easy, you just go and do this, and then you find out there's a bunch of code and it takes someone 3 days. So I just kind of want to show you how it works so you understand, if you were to get, a small block of licenses or trial licenses, set this up on on your server that could be up and running on this pretty fast. And SimpleFi, obviously, we help companies with proof of concepts, with implementations, something we would be glad to assist you all with to make sure you can get value out of this. So we'll go through that quick integration. We'll go through some example SAC dashboarding on BPC financial data, example of BW report that we're pulling in. And then again, if you want a copy of this presentation, just send me a note. All right. So this is, I'm going to go back to the home page here, the SAP Analytics Cloud. This is the home page here. So Analytics Cloud does run on Internet Explorer, runs best on Chrome. That's really what it was built by. These homepage dashboards are customizable based off the individual user. You can pin different reports, different dashboards on this homepage here. If we click on the menu bar, you can see that some of the different selections that are available. So we can go in here and create stories. We can create planning stories, analytics stories, dashboards, those same things, plug into the digital boardroom solution that I was talking about earlier. We can create models within SAP Analytics Cloud. So actually, there is all this built-in integration with SAP, but the modeling in SAP Analytics Cloud is pretty advanced. You can create models just based off of flat file data that you want to load into here too, again, based off of SQL data sources. So these models as well are much more user-driven, so you don't need a highly technical person to be able to accomplish these models in here. So these can be finance people building this as opposed to needing to call consultants to every time you want to do some quick analytics and visualization of data. So you can create these models. You can create processes within the tool, so allocation processes, reporting processes, planning processes. You can actually create driver trees, so dependent calculations. You can manage your data within this tool, so you can copy forecast versions. You can see the forecast version from prior year actual to this year. So same kind of concept, finance or operational analyst driven. It doesn't need to be something that's managed by IT to manage your data, right? You're never in this tool are you going back to SAP GUI. Manage your dimensions within here too. You can create calendar invites, attach that to different processes and planning templates or reporting packages that you want to push out. You can send out reminders. It has all the security that you would expect, right? You can secure by your different regions, by sales teams. You can track different data changes and activities within the solution. And then this is where you set up your actual connections to your different systems. So I'll just start here. If I click on my connections here, you can see, we basically just have our connections set up with our own internal BW environments, with our different BPC environments. On here, you basically just, click into these and type in the server name, type in your credentials. And the one thing you'll need your basis person to do is install a connector on your server or on a desktop even that just allows SAP Analytics Cloud to authenticate. So once you set up the connection, then you're off and running. You can go and actually create models based off of the underlying data within your BPC models, within S4, within BW. So we go and click on create a model. We can click on get data from a data source. So you can see all these different data sources, Concur, Fieldglass, Google Drive. So it does, even if you're doing flat file, there's availability to have flat file integration for your master data dimensions and hierarchies too for non-SAP data sources. Integrates back with Salesforce, BPC, BW, BobJ, obviously S4. But again, so you can create a data source based on, you can create a model based off of any one of these data sets. So for example, if I click on SAP BPC, we basically pick our system here. We pick our model, our environment, our model, we give it a name, we give it a description, and then we can import it. So I'm not going to go through this end to end. For the data model I'll show you right now, it'll take about 2 minutes once you fill that in for it to import the data. There are different types of models that are available within the solution. So for BPC, there are both basic models, which you can do planning on, as well as real-time write-back models, which actually write back the data to BPC. So as you're making your planning updates, you can see that in your financial reporting system as well. But I'm just actually going to click into an example dashboard. So we created a model, for example, from BPC that's just based off of an example data set for a media company. So if we go back to our home page here, I'll just show you some examples based off our BPC model. So I'm going to click on this BPC Flash report. So once you create that BPC model, create the connection, save that data back, it goes and actually creates all the different dimensions and everything for you, all the different hierarchies and everything. So you're not actually going, again, coding or updating anything. You finish filling out those prompts, you go to import, and it pulls in your model. So once you're doing that and you come into your dashboard here, for example, again, this is just dummy data created for based off of BPC example model for a media company. But you can create these dashboards. I think this one took me 3-4 hours to create. So on the bottom left here, this is all data coming directly out of BPC, all utilizing the structures and hierarchies. So on the bottom left, we have net sales trend by the different business units. And this is all interactive, so as you select this, you'll see the chart change here. On the bottom right, we have EBITDA by business unit. We have actual versus forecast, better, worse. And again, this is all dynamic. So right now, we're just looking at the current month data. We can drag this, and we can put that all the way back to the beginning of 2018. And now what happens is all of our graphics and numbers here all update and show us the year-to-date financial information through 2018. So that's year-to-date through June. We could also look at trailing 12 months. So this is something that would be pretty hard to, harder to do in a lot of financial reporting tools or analytics, some of the analytics tools, but this tool definitely handles it very well. So I can look at trailing 12 months, EBITDA, actual forecast, better, worse, and again, all these charts just update automatically. We can also, add these filters within the report. So if we want to update and just pick, the print segment of our business, we can pick the print segment of our business and all of our graphs update. So what you'll see happen is not only do our numbers update, but again, this is all just based off the hierarchies that we're managing in BPC. And as we update those hierarchies and everything in BPC, they update in this solution set too. You're not coding, building integration between the tools. So you'll see that these hierarchies all updated here. These graphs are drillable, so you can click into this. You could drill into these numbers that are within these charts as well. But again, just wanted to give you a quick kind of visualization of some of the dashboarding that you could do within this tool set. So this is just an example based off of a BPC data. I also wanted to go through a quick example based off of BW data. So I have a BEX report open here. I also just have that available in analysis for Office. So this is just a BEX, and this could be done on HANA Design, HANA Studio as well. But this is just a BW query that we, in this Excel example, I have an analysis for Office report sitting on top of that BW query. So I can refresh that. I can drill into this report. So we're looking at 2017 across our entire company for actual versus for budget. And again, this is drillable, pretty nicely formatted report. So I can go back into Analytics Cloud and same concept how we created that BPC model, same kind of idea here. We can go and actually create a model just based off of BW. So I'll click on Models. I'll click on Create, and I'll go through a few more of the steps with the BW one just so you can see a little bit more. So I click on SAP BW as the source for this one. I'll click on BEX, and I can create a new query, or I can actually, I've already created this model and I have a report based off of it. So, when I throw this in the oven, I'll just go to the one that's already done. But if I click on copy a query from a model, I can then actually just pick the model that I already have created. So then I click on next. And this is also the first screen you'd see once I go and search that query. What it shows you is, okay, here's my query. Here's all the things available to us from that BEX query. You can just drag and drop the different characteristics and key figures that you want to see within here. And then you can decide what you actually want to expose to your BPC model. So for example, within GL account, I can pick on this. I can select any hierarchies that I have set up within my BEX query. I can pick the level of detail that we want to pull into our SAP Analytics Cloud model. So I could just pull the first couple levels if I want it to be high level. I could pull all the general ledger detail if I want to pull that. You could pick between different attributes and text fields that you might want to show when you create your model. So if I look at cost center, for example, I can pick from these different selections here. So there are two ways to set up a BW, a BW-based SAC model. One, you can create a basic SAP Analytics Cloud model, or you can create a real-time Analytics Cloud model. So this can read from BW. The reporting all gets updated as any numbers get updated in BW. This is real-time analytics and reporting sitting on top of BW. So when would you create the real-time model? It would be for analytics purposes. When would you create the basic model within here? If you want to pull in BW data into SAC and do some planning and do some scenario analysis and predictive analysis on it, that's when you create the basic model. And you can still update that model from BW, X number of times a day. I think there's a company out there updating this every 2 minutes, updating one of their models every 2 minutes. But you have a couple different selections of how you want to set up that model. Again, you can also hook this up directly to S4. If you're just trying to pull a targeted number out of S4, you can do that. For operational and financial modeling, it makes sense to be pulling out of BW, because then you can leverage a lot of the hierarchies and reporting structures that you might not have set up in either your ERP or S4 system. So once you pick what characteristics and amounts you want to see from your query, then you just go to create and you save the model. And then I'll just show you here quickly before I get into the report what that model looks like. And this is the same concept as it is for BPC as well. So I'll go to Browse, Models, type BW here. So it goes into your BEX query. So this is my analysis for office report based off my BEX query. And it actually just pulls all your GL accounts, it pulls your attributes, it pulls your hierarchy in automatically for you. So again, as you add new accounts in here, every time you update your Analytics Cloud tool, or if you have it real time, it's real time, just depending on what you're using it for. All your master data and everything in here updates, as well as your hierarchies. Okay. So it creates this model. You save it. You can set security on this model if you want to set security on it, and then you can go ahead and start reporting. So again, you can set up each one of these in not 4 or 5 minutes, not too long. Once you get the connection set up. So the last thing I just want to show you, just example, I've got my BEX analysis for office report here. I just created a very similar report here. Just, my background is accounting, so I like to see things work, and I like to see numbers tie out. So, create this quick P&L comparison report formatted. And so you see the 56,628, 56,419, same concept that we did in the other report. We drilled into operating expenses, this 2216 number, we can drill in here. So same kind of idea here. These analytics grids, so these reports, obviously we can create graphs and visualizations based off the same data, but they can't all be dynamic, right? We can pick different company codes from here. We could also pick different products, look at our variance reports by different products. And again, this is all leveraging those BW structures, so you're not rebuilding anything. You're essentially just either viewing or copying those structures over to BPC, over to SAC, I should say, from either BPC or BW. All right. I think that I'm 2 minutes over here, but I think that's everything we wanted to show. Just an intro to the solution set, explain, the integration, how that works, the examples of the SAC dashboard on the BPC data, examples of just a quick report and how you create the models based off the BW BEX reports as well. So that should do it. Any questions before we wrap up here? Lauren, I'm not seeing any questions unless I'm looking at it wrong. So,
yep,
if
no
that's
questions.
the case,
I don't see any either.
All right, so I think we're all set. Thank you all. I think pretty much everyone stayed on the whole time, so hopefully you found this useful. And please, again, like Lauren said, if you're interested in that event, there's not many seats left, so please go ahead and register. If you in fact can make it. And reach out to us if you have any questions on this tool. We're happy to help. That's how we make our living. So thanks everyone again for joining.
Thanks everyone.